This former Green Beret came out of nowhere to win the GOP nomination in a crowded field. Now he faces an uphill battle to win the congressional seat, a seat that's considered a safe one for Democrats. First things first, have you moved to Greensboro?
Of course, yeah. I said, I promised the people that if I won the primary, we'd move, and we did. As soon as the primary was over, we relocated.
Are you renting or did you buy?
We rented for now.
Congressional candidates aren't required to live in the district they run in, but Christian Castelli is now registered as a Guilford County voter. Why are you running for Congress? Why would you want the headache?
Well, the catalyst for me to run for office was watching the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. I spent 22 years in the military. I always thought maybe at some point after my military career was over that I would continue in public service in another capacity, potentially a political career.
At the top of your list, you said I think you used the word reckless spending. Is that right? That's right. Is it any different, though, under Biden than it was under Trump, than it was under Obama, than it was under George W. Bush?
Well, I'm a firm believer in a balanced budget amendment.
You really think that's going to happen?
I don't know, but I can certainly hope for it. I think that's the only way that we can move forward.
Give me, or the voters of this district, an example of what major program, because we're talking a lot of money here, where would you cut?
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing I would do is we don't need 86,000 new IRS agents. You know, to me, that's just unnecessary. I think it's an attempt to go after the middle class.
A number of Republican candidates make the same claim, but PolitiFact says the claim is mostly false. The Democrats' Inflation Reduction Act does add some 87,000 IRS positions over the next decade, but most of the new hires will not work as auditors or in enforcement. And the Congressional Budget Office says most of the additional audits would target higher income taxpayers, not the middle class. One of the issues possibly coming before the Senate this month is the same-sex marriage. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I'm not prepared to talk about that. I believe in the nuclear family, that marriage is an institution between one man and one woman, and I haven't wavered from that stance, and that's my belief as a devout Catholic.
Would you want to repeal Obamacare at this point in time?
I think if Obamacare was going to be repealed, it would have done it under the last presidency when we controlled both houses of Congress and the presidency. I think that ship has sailed. It is here to stay, and we're just going to have to work around it.
Would you have voted for the PACT Act?
I would have.
You would have? Because you know a lot of Republicans opposed it. The PACT Act is a new law expanding health care for veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxic substances.
I've asked that question to a lot of my friends in government and a lot of candidates around the country, and we've looked into it and we've actually discussed it quite a bit. And you know, the additions of the pork in these bills is why some of them are voted against it.
What is the big difference between you and your opponent?
Kathy Manning has got a 100% vote match with Joe Biden in his agenda. Mm-hmm. So she is absolutely responsible for the issues that we're facing in America on the economy, on our southern border with immigration issues, crime in America, and all the things that are kitchen table issues that Americans have problems with today. I think she represents the ultra wealthy. She's listed as the 19th most wealthy member in the House of Representatives. I represent the middle class. I wore a uniform for a living. I didn't get rich doing it. I'm one of those families that's hurting. Christian Castelli has loaned his campaign $150,000. He says he wants to debate his opponent. A spokesman for the Manning campaign says they would have to see a specific debate request before making a decision. Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.